Welcome to the Fort Indiantown Gap Installation Safety Procedures Brief for the Outdoor Recreation Program. The purpose of this brief is to make you more familiar with the rules and procedures for outdoor recreation activities within the installation. To participate in outdoor recreation activities at this installation is a privilege contingent upon your ability to comply with all regulations stated in the Fort Indiantown Gap Regulation 215-2. The Fort Indiantown Gap Regulation 215-2 covers the rules and regulations that govern the outdoor recreation program and covers information regarding hunting, fishing, and other outdoor activities allowed at Fort Indiantown Gap. Additional copies of this regulation can be obtained from the Range Operations Building as well as the Outdoor Recreation Check-In-Out facility. Although this brief does cover a large amount of information, it does not alleviate you from your responsibility of reading and understanding the Fort Indiantown Gap Regulation 215-2. This brief will be broken down into the following categories. Should any questions arise from any of the information that is covered, please contact the Range Operations or Natural Resource Office prior to engaging in any outdoor recreation activities. Our mission is to ensure the safe and coordinated operation of all live fire, non-live fire, airspace, and maneuver training within the installation training complex. What this means is we coordinate the what, when, and where of an individual unit's mission that takes place here at Fort Indiantown Gap. During your outdoor activities here within the installation, you may unfortunately have some type of emergency or come across someone who is in need of assistance. Should any emergency arise, contact Range Operations immediately at the number listed below. Outdoor recreation activities at Fort Indiantown Gap is open to registered users after Labor Day in September through the end of small game season in February. Activities will then resume for spring turkey season in May and generally ends the last day of that season. The hours of operation is dictated by the PA Game Commission, as well as the Natural Resource Office. All registered participants are permitted to check in no earlier than 2 hours prior to legal shooting time for that day, and must check out no later than 90 minutes past the legal hunting time. The checkout time may be altered depending on the requirements of the Natural Resource Office, and it is the registered participant's responsibility to know when the checkout time for that day is. Failure to adhere to the posted times could result in suspension of privileges or possible revocation of outdoor recreation activities. Fort Indiantown Gap has approximately 17,100 acres of ranges and training areas that it is responsible for. From this map, you can see the area to the north of Blue Mountain is known as the corridor, and the area that has main post buildings and facilities is known as cantonment. While here at Fort Indiantown Gap, you as a registered participant will be granted limited access to certain roads and trail networks throughout the installation. The speed limit within all of these areas is 15 miles per hour unless otherwise posted. The north, south, and east tank trails are strictly off limits. Any trail located within the border of a training area or range is considered to be hazardous. Within the installation, you are authorized to use your privately owned vehicle to access the approved area for that day. Privately owned vehicle traffic is limited to only approved access routes. Participants are authorized to drive into training areas from paved roads to retrieve bear and deer only. You may drive on Trail 10 and Hotel Road in order to access parking areas near the intersection of Trail 9 and Hotel Road. Traveling through 5 points to the training area Bravo 9 Charlie parking area is authorized, and no gate or barrier that is across any trail or road may be bypassed without direct consent from Range Operations. This map will help you better understand the locations of the areas authorized for you to park your privately owned vehicle. It is also within the Fort Indiantown Gap Regulation 215-2 and should be used to familiarize yourself with the installation. It also shows the off-limits areas, training areas, and installation boundaries, as well as the handicap access platforms designed for those requiring special needs. While you are participating in any outdoor recreation activities here at Fort Indiantown Gap, there will be no sightseeing or joyriding. This includes attempting to drive from one area to another while stopping to watch training or any other activity. You are permitted to drive to and from your designated area and no other. You will not block roads, gates, barriers, or intersections, and any vehicle that is to be used for transportation must be registered with Range Operations. Should for any reason your vehicle break down or become disabled, notify Range Operations immediately. Government employees are not permitted to recover stuck or broken down vehicles. It is the owner's responsibility to notify Range Operations or the Natural Resource Office of any situation concerning a disabled vehicle, as well as to remove the vehicle from the area. All designated training areas are marked with a yellow-colored keystone-shaped sign that is marked with its corresponding training area. It is the responsibility of each participant to become familiar with the boundaries of the training areas. There are different types of gates and barriers that you will see here at Fort Indiantown Gap. They vary from metal swing gates to wooden barriers. Should you come across any type of gate or barrier that is obstructing your path, do not attempt to bypass it. The gate or barrier is in place to protect any traffic from driving into possible live fire areas or areas that are conducting different types of military training. Bypassing the gate or barrier could result in serious injury or death. There are many different signs posted throughout the installation, and it is required that you adhere to them all. Laser ranges, although seemingly harmless, can be extremely dangerous. The impact area is surrounded by 3-strand barbed wire fence and is off-limits to all outdoor recreation activities. Conducting any type of outdoor recreation activity within the impact area could result in serious injury or death. The off-limits areas are listed below. Ensure you familiarize yourself with them and are aware of the area they refer to. The ASP has a minimum safety buffer requirement of 200 meters. No one is allowed within that buffer zone. In the unlikely event of an ammunition magazine detonating, and you are within that distance, injury or death could occur. This map reflects some of the demolition site areas as well as the ASP area that is considered to be off-limits. It is your responsibility as an outdoor recreation participant to understand the locations of where you can and cannot go in accordance with the Fort Indiantown Gap Regulation 215-2. Again, failure to do so could result in revocation of privileges. Due to the history of the installation, there is a possibility that unexploded ordnance, or UXOs, may be found within the area that you may be participating in. If you believe that you have located one, contact Range Operations immediately and ensure that you do not do anything that could possibly disrupt the UXO. Attempting to unearth or remove any UXO from an area could kill you or cause serious bodily harm to you or others near you. The safety requirements for participation are as follows. Strict compliance with the Fort Indiantown Gap Regulation 215-2. That the minimum requirement of fluorescent orange be worn as prescribed by the PA Game Commission. That the impact area is surrounded by a 3-strand barbed wire fence is strictly off-limits to all. That if a UXO is found, you will mark the closest road or trail near it to help Range Operations identify the location. No alcohol and/or illegal drugs are permitted. All issued pins must be on your person at all times while participating in outdoor recreation activities. Lastly, that you properly display your parking permit to allow authorized personnel to clearly identify your vehicle. The archery range is located at Range 17 here on post. In order for you to use this range, you must be a registered participant of the outdoor recreation program. The range must be open for use, and before using the range, you must check in and out at Range Operations. The availability for the range will be posted on the available area sheet located at the check-in and out facility. The archery range can have no more than 2 archers shooting at a time, and any damage to the range must be reported to Range Operations immediately. Any dispute on the range will be reported and settled by Range Operations immediately, and failure to adhere to any of the rules within the Fort Indiantown Gap Regulation 215-2 could result in suspension or revocation of outdoor recreation privileges. In conclusion, ensure that you stay out of closed and off-limits areas as they could result in severe injury or death. Report any possible UXO immediately to Range Operations, and should anything you are unsure of as far as your safety or the safety of others arise, notify Range Operations immediately. The numbers that are shown here are listed in the Fort Indiantown Gap Regulation 215-2, but should also be on your person at all times. As stated before, anything involving an emergency or UXO situations, contact Range Operations immediately. For all other concerns, please contact the Natural Resource Office.